What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It with your host, Bando. We are back at it with a fresh episode because UFC 295 is this weekend. Now, it's not the card we all expected and the card that we initially wanted with Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight championship. Some things got flipped around, but we're cool with it. You know why? Because the original co-main event is now the main event. So we got Alex Pereira going up against Yuri Petroska for the light heavyweight championship. And then in your co-main event, you got Tom Aspinall going up against Sergey Pavlovich for the interim heavyweight championship. So this card is still stacked. It's still a beautiful night of fights. So let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's get into this shit because I feel like it's been a minute. So let's talk about some fights. Let's go. So we already know UFC 295 is this weekend, and we have a stacked card. It really is a pretty stacked card. Let me pull it up here real quick. So you got Matt Frevola going up against Benoit St. Denis. That's opening the card. Or actually, sorry, I skipped Diego Lopez versus Pat Sabatini. So that's going to be the opening card, a nice little featherweight matchup. Then you got Matt Frevola going up against Benoit St. Denis. Then you got Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern in what possibly could be, that number one contender type of matchup. And then you got the co-main event, Sergey Pavlovich, Tom Aspinall, and then Yuri Petroska versus Alex Pereira. Let's break this shit down. So, Diego Lopez. If you're hip to Diego Lopez, he's the one that took that short notice fight against, I forgot his name. It is what it is. Diego Lopez took that short notice fight against Movsar Evloev. When I'm pretty sure this was when Evloev was supposed to fight Bryce Mitchell. Bryce had to pull out, so Diego Lopez stepped in on short notice and put on a phenomenal fight, bro. Was threatening submissions, was threatening with the hands. In his debut on short notice, fantastic. So 3-4 months later, he goes on and fights on the same card as Corey Sandhagen and Rob Font. Gets a submission win in the first round over Gavin Tucker. So dude's gaining something, you know what I'm saying? He fought a top contender in Movsar, and he fought an established guy in Gavin Tucker. Now you're moving on, you're going up against Pat Sabatini. Pat Sabatini is coming off of a win against Lucas Almeida, a submission of round 2. So we might be having a nice little little grappling war between these two. So that's nice. Nice little fight to open the card with. Who am I rocking with? I'm probably going to rock with Diego Lopez. I'm going to rock with the younger guy. I'm going to rock with the guy who's riding the hype, and he seems like he's got some people behind him. He's definitely got people behind him, so I'm rocking with Diego Lopez in that one. Moving on, you got Matt Frevola going up against Benoit St. Denis. Last time I counted out Matt Frevola, he knocked out Drew Dober, so I'm not going to count my mans out in this one. Going up against Benoit St. Denis, who put on a absolute, if I remember correctly, a war with Thiago Moises. Absolute war, but ended up getting a finish in round 2. But it was back-to-back. It was bloody. It was a fun one. That was a fun one. If I remember correctly, that was an enjoyable fight. Let's see. Benoit St. Denis also has wins over Nicolas Stolz and Gabriel Miranda. Gotta be honest, don't know who the fuck either of those guys are. So, this fight is interesting. Matt Frevola, Benoit St. Denis. I think I'm going to rock with Matt Frevola because, like I said, last time I went against him, he knocked out Drew Dober. So, he's got something. Matt Frevola is actually somebody I thought was like 11-9, but my dude's 11-3 with his losses coming against Terrence McKinney. That was the 1-2 down the pipe. and Arman Tsarukyan, but he took Arman 3 rounds. So Matt Fravola's no chump. He really isn't no chump. I think a lot of people saw him get knocked out in 7 seconds against Terrence McKinney. Everybody thought Terrence McKinney was about to be the truth. And, you end up looking at Fravola as a scrub. And he's not. I mean, dude's got a win over Otman Zaitar. Got a win over Genaro Valdez. And then, obviously, the KO win over Drew Dober. Huge underdog win. I'm rocking with fucking Matt Fravola. Again, let's go. But I guarantee you this is going to be a slugfest, bro. This is going to be a war. This is going to be a good fight. It's a slept-on one on this card. It is going to be a very good fight. So watch out for this one. I'm predicting possible fight of the night, or we're going to get a nasty KO. One of the two in that one. So, moving on, you're going on to Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern. Obviously, like I said, this could have number one contender implications. Maybe not so much for Jessica Andrade, but yes for Mackenzie Dern. If Mackenzie Dern could get this with her namesake and the way that she's been winning, that could definitely push her towards, fighting for the strawweight belt. And I think a lot of people would be curious and interested to see, depending on what kind of win she can get over Jessica Andrade. Now, if she can finish Jessica Andrade, whether it's on the ground or standing up, that's huge. That's huge, and that could probably lock in a number one contender status. But for Andrade, same thing. She got to go out there and really make a statement. She got to get either a quick submission or a nasty-ass knockout. And you can't count Jessica Andrade out because the girl's got power, man. She's got pop in her punches. Still, and she's a veteran of the game. Eventually it's going to get down to one of those things where people are going to really appreciate Jessica Andrade. I mean, she's 24-12. Like, she fought that many fights. Not a lot of women fight that many fights, so you got to give her props. She fights all the fucking time. Her and Angela Hill, who I'm pretty sure just fought this past weekend, fight all the time. So you got to give her props. But she's going up against Mackenzie Dern, always getting better, always progressing in her game. And obviously, we already know the skill set, the dominance when it comes to the ground for both women. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen in this fight. If I had to make a prediction, I really don't know. You're only as good as your last fight, right? So Jessica Andrade is coming off of a loss to Tatiana Suarez. Also before that, that's when she beat Amanda Lemos in 2022. Lost to Shevchenko. Didn't she lose to somebody else? Yeah, Jan Zaunin, Erin Blanchfield. She's coming off of a few losses, back to back. So 0-3 in her last 3. She needs a win badly. Mackenzie Dern is coming off of a win. She's definitely coming off of a win. She beat Angela Hill. That's all she's done in 2023. So she hasn't been super active. She's also lost to Jan Zaunin. She beat Tisha Torres. So this is a really interesting fight. Maybe not a number one contender. I might be talking a little shit there. I guess sometimes the media starts throwing that number one contender out there and you just start grabbing. And I just started grabbing. But realistically, Mackenzie Dern hasn't done that much. She beat Angela Hill. She lost to Jan Zaunin, like I said. Beat Tisha Torres. Lost to Marina Rodriguez. Beat Nina Nunez. And then all of her other wins were early, back in 2020 or before. So, I don't know. I'm not gonna dive into the women's strawweight division right now. I'll do that after. Let me finish the breakdown. But if I had to really go with who I'm gonna say wins this one, I'm going with Jessica Andrade. I know a lot of you probably thought I was going to go with Mackenzie Dern, but I'm going with Jessica Andrade. Because if you really think about the veteran status, her power standing up, and her strength and skill set when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I don't think she's no slouch when it comes to the ground game. I got Jessica Andrade. I don't know how, but I got Jessica Andrade. I can see this fight going 3 rounds and definitely someone getting a decision win, but I'm rocking with Jessica Andrade in this one. Now we are moving on to the big dog breakdown because we are in this co-main event, which is for the interim heavyweight championship. You got that absolute monster in Sergey Pavlovich going up against Tom Aspinall. Now, we're going to really break this down. My man Sergey Pavlovich, in his last 6, has KO'd all of his opponents in the first round. That's what I mean when I'm always saying, like, people don't put him on that level with Ngannou. It's wild because 6 opponents, 6 KOs, 1 round. It's impressive. It's fucking impressive. You can't say it's not. So, my man Sergey Pavlovich, obviously a monster on the feet. Obviously very scary and threatening when it comes down to the first round. But when it comes to Tom Aspinall knows what the fuck is going on. My man's got every bit of the game put together. He's one of the most balanced heavyweights we've seen in a long time, right? He's very skilled when it comes to the takedowns, jiu-jitsu. He's got the hands. He's bouncy. He's light. He moves like a middleweight. Tom is one of the most threatening heavyweights. But when it comes to a fight like this, what are the keys to victory for these guys? Because both of them have to be careful, right? Sergey is obviously going to go out there and try to knock Tom the fuck out, right? So Tom's got to be careful. He's got to be smart in the first round. He's got to, be slow. I wouldn't say like try to set any pace. Don't really try to set any pace in the first round. You got to just weather that storm. You got to weather that storm. Hope you can get past the first round, get past the first 2 minutes of Sergey being a savage. See what you can do. Maybe you catch Sergey in an overhand and you hit him with a double leg, get him down, completely throws off his rhythm of pressing. Because when Sergey presses, that's Sergey's keys to victory. He has to press forward the whole time and put you on your back foot. If he puts you on your back foot, that's going to be a long night for Tom if Tom's on his back foot, because Tom's not going to be able to get in motion, to be able to get set and shoot, get set and get his feet together. Tom's very bouncy. Tom's very light on his feet. So if Sergey can force him to move back, force him to be heavy on his feet, force him to fuck up his footwork, stuff like that, it might be that point where Sergey can just unleash all the power, unleash everything that he's got, man. You see when he touches these guys, they drop. So he's got the reach advantage, 84-inch reach going up against a 78-inch reach. So he's got the reach advantage. He doesn't have the height advantage, but when you have the reach advantage, the height advantage really doesn't matter as much, especially when it's only 2 inches for these two guys. But you can't really you really got to be safe when you're Tom Aspinall in this one, because at the end of the day, if you can get this fight to maybe 3-4, you have a way better chance than he does. He has not even been past 2 minutes in his last 6 fights, right? He's a very inactive fighter. Not a very inactive fighter, but he's kind of inactive. He hasn't fought a ton this year. I think his last fight was... Actually, you know what? I'm wrong. No, I'm right. He fought one time in 2023. That was back in April. In 2022, he fought 3 times. So, I'm giving props on that. He fought 3 times in 2022. He's only fought once in 2023. I think this matchup is the best one you can make in the heavyweight division anyways. Obviously, we all want to see Jon Jones and Stipe, because there's so much more on the line than just the belt. It's that namesake, who's the GOAT, who's the greatest of all time type thing. Like, all that kind of stuff. You're sitting there thinking like, damn, man, if Jon beats Stipe, even though Jon already kind of has that status, he would be the GOAT. There would be no argument at all, right? And if Stipe can get that win and ride off into the sunset, being the guy that beat Jon Jones, you be the guy to beat Jon Jones and then ride off in the sunset, and you are already arguably one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, or the greatest heavyweight of all time, depending on what your stance is on that. And it's like, damn, both of them had such high stakes in this, right? But this matchup is so much more interesting because you're looking at the future of the heavyweight division, right? either way this goes, to me, you're looking at the real champion. John and Stipe both said that regardless of what the outcome was of that fight, they were both retiring. So you're really looking at the real champion in this fight. So I can't wait. I'm excited as fuck for this one. Who do I have winning this fight? It's simple as this, right? Because I don't have a dog in this one to be specific, but I can see it going like this. Sergey in the first round or Tom within 3? I think Tom could get it done within 3. He would have to weather the storm. If he could weather the storm, I could see it happening. But if he doesn't weather the storm, he's in for a long night. Or a really short night, really quick night, fast night. And not like in a positive way at all. Either way, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. And like I said, I think that's the real champion regardless. So, moving on, we got Yuri Petroska versus Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight championship of the world. And I love this matchup. You already know I've talked about this a million times. I got to put the joint down for this one. I've talked about this one before. One, not only is just a matchup I wanted to see, but the reason why this matchup is so fun is because you have this fucking samurai warrior dude like Yuri Petroska going up against this absolute just, I don't even know how to describe Alex Pereira, this stone man. He's just a stone man. Not a stoned man. I'm a stoned man. He's like stone, right? He's just, I can't even describe him, right? He's just Alex Pereira. A savage. Poetan. A savage. Absolute savage. And this matchup is just beautiful. It's beautiful. Stylistically, you know there's not going to be a boring aspect of this fucking fight. Right? We've seen Yuri bounce around in there, moving his head like a madman, getting tagged in the face, still coming forward, throwing spinning shit, throwing flying, jumping kicks, knees, everything, right? And we've seen Alex in there throwing that nasty left, shutting people's lights off, throwing beautiful kicks to the body, beautiful leg kicks, checking leg kicks, just unbelievable when it comes to their striking, every aspect of the game. This is going to be very, very, very exciting. We already know it's going to be mainly stand-up. Who has more of the threat on the ground? I'm not quite sure, right? We did see Yuri sub Glover Teixeira, but it was after 5 in the last few minutes of the round of the fight. It's different situation. I think Alex is a lot stronger when it comes to certain jiu-jitsu stuff, but I don't think his game is fully evolved. I just think he's very strong, so he can get out and avoid and defend a lot of stuff. So I think Yuri probably has more of the skill, but Alex might have that strength to be able to just defend and be able to get out of those moments. But I'm telling you, this fight's going to be all stand-up. The thing about it is, who's going to win? Who's going to do more damage? Who's going to end up being the light heavyweight champion of the world? Now, I want to go with Alex Pereira. I wouldn't mind if Yuri wins it. Yuri's the former champ. We've seen him win it once. But I think it would be super dope if Alex Pereira got it. 7 fights in the UFC. That's it. Or no. Yeah, right? Let me make sure. Let me count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. Yep. So Yuri will be 7 on his 7th fight in the UFC, right? Or would it be 8? No, 7. 7 fights in the UFC, and he becomes basically a 2-division champion because he won the middleweight championship, wins the light heavyweight championship. That's amazing. That's like unheard of. Not a lot of people have ever done that in 7 fights in the UFC. Now for Yuri to become a 2-time champ, right? That means he solidified his position as the best light heavyweight in the world, and he very, very so might be. I mean, you can't really argue it. He's got the skill set. I like this. I like this so much, man. I can't even talk about it. Literally. I can't even talk about it. That's how excited I am. Realistically, I was more excited for this fight than I was John and Stipe. Because, John and Stipe was a huge matchup because of what was at stake, right? You know, the GOAT status. Basically, who's the best and who is going to end up riding off into the sunset as the best. This is so much more because it's stylistically fun, right? It's in a way they're both characters, so that's fun, right? But you already know it's gonna be a technical war. It's gonna be technical, so there's gonna be like parts of it that are kind of like slow, but it's gonna be a war. It's gonna be a fantastic fight, man. It really is. I can't wait. I think if you're really talking about like coming off of last performances, Alex didn't have the greatest performance against Jan, but he did what he needed to do to get the decision win, right? He kind of coasted a little bit. Obviously, Yuri went to war with Glover. That was the last time we saw Yuri. Yuri's had a lot of time off. We don't know how he's going to come back from the shoulder injury. You know, the shoulder might be a problem, but we'll see. We just got to see how he's moving, see how he's active. He's got to keep his hands up in this fight. That's for damn sure. Got to keep his hands up in this fight. You don't want to get hit with one of those check lefts while you're doing all that bouncing shit. Get caught with a check left. That'd be dangerous. But for Alex, I think Alex has just got to, you know, stay patient, kind of try to counter a lot, but also not be stuck off his back foot. I think he wants to force Yuri, but don't get caught playing possum like he did against Israel, because obviously Yuri will throw some of that wacky spinny shit. So you don't want that happening either. So I think Alex needs the pressure, but Alex also needs to stay patient and wait for the counters. You know, pressure, just force the pace. Force the pace on your end. I think Alex has a really, really good chance of getting this win. I really do. But Yuri is no slouch in any aspect of the game. No aspect of the game. And it depends on how Yuri comes out, man. Because Yuri could come out like a bull in a china shop in the first round and just say, fuck it. I'm fucking everybody up. You remember how he did against Volkan Ozdemir? Went right at him. Right at him. So anything can happen in this fight. But all I know is Saturday night at Madison Square Garden, UFC 295, we are going to crown a new light heavyweight champion and a new interim heavyweight champion. But to me, it's the real champ, regardless. But I will catch you after Saturday night with the review. Stay tuned. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode's out. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Bando out. Peace.